Howard Schultz, the multi-billionaire founder and director of Starbucks, who is with us this morning only under the threat of subpoena. There have been over 500 unfair labor practice charges lodged against the company, and judges have found that Starbucks broke the law 130 times across 6 states since workers began organizing in the fall of 2021.
Yeah, that's right. That was a hearing for the history books. Schultz is kind of known as an infamous union buster, and he had just resigned right before testifying before Congress. On Wednesday, he did so, as Bernie noted, under the threat of subpoena, sitting down before the Senate to address allegations that Starbucks had been breaking labor laws, not necessarily breaking kneecaps, though. And of course, Schultz, well, he was fresh off his 3rd stint as Starbucks CEO, and he repeatedly denied wrongdoing. Here's a reminder of what the antics are. So employees at nearly 300 coffee shops have now voted to join Starbucks Workers United. About 3% of the chain's company-owned locations in the US Starbucks has shuttered some unionized stores and fired some workers involved in organizing, citing misconduct. Administrative law judges have found Starbucks violated labor laws in at least 8 of those cases so far, which the company is appealing. Some rulings have ordered Starbucks to reinstate fired workers and issue them back pay. One said Starbucks engaged in egregious and widespread misconduct, demonstrating a general disregard for the employees. Yes, that's right, because again, the penalties are not very steep, yet if there were fines in place that hit the companies at a percentage of their revenue, my God, I'm sure they would lay off union workers and maybe even just treat them a little bit better. Now, of course, Mitt Romney tried to throw an alley-oop during the hearing to former Starbucks CEO Howard Schultz, really about the benefits in non-unionized stores, saying that they were better than in unionized stores, and it did not go well.
Do the non-union store employees get paid less than the union store employees?
The starting wage has been the same. The only difference is the benefits that we created in May. And my understanding under the law is that we were not allowed to provide those benefits to people who are organizing to join a union.
So in fact, the non-union stores are actually a little better total package than the union stores.
In my 4 years at the company, I've never had a problem qualifying for benefits until now suddenly. I actually just was taken off of Starbucks benefit policies because I have not been scheduled the appropriate hours or anywhere close to my availability for the better part of an hour requirement per week. It's 20 hours per week. The threshold was lowered due to COVID. However, that has now since, I believe, been removed. So yeah, because of that, my hours were cut.
Yeah, I think that would be more aligned to truth and less so what Schultz is saying. Again, it's incredibly disheartening that you can have these companies raking in billions of dollars, and yet their employees simply want to gather together so that they can have better control over their own economic independence and the conditions within which they work. And yet these companies will invest millions of dollars to stop them, as opposed to just treating them decently. I don't get it, but then again, it's very much a hallmark of our capitalistic society. Jessica.
Absolutely. Howard Schultz got that law so backwards in his application or regurgitation of it. Basically, if you're organizing a union and you're a group of workers, it's a tactic for your boss to say, no, let's give you some more benefits. Let's pay, for some of your college. Let's raise your wages a little bit. What do you want changed about your schedule? To entice them to not join the union because they want to continue exerting power over them and exploiting their labor. And so what Howard Schultz mentions, well, I didn't think I could give the union employees the benefits because of this law. But what he has done is said, well, there's a new enticement for you to not work at a store with the union. They get more benefits. He literally did the thing that's illegal, saying, I was trying not to do the illegal thing. It's absolutely ridiculous. But should a cup of coffee be $8 like it is at Starbucks? It's insane what the prices are, and it also comes with the moral cost of these baristas not being able to pay rent, of them working at stores that are understaffed, of their managers telling them that, some customers might come in without PPE even before the vaccines came out. And these folks were on the front lines risking getting COVID at the beginning of the pandemic for what? for people to have coffee, but that was okay for people like Howard Schultz who are profiting off of this. People were being denied their basic rights to organize a union and live with dignity. And let's keep in mind that being a barista isn't a side job for folks. It's not something that just young people do or people do in addition to their main job. This is people's livelihood. This is how people pay their bills and pay their rent and take care of their families. And they deserve to be paid a living wage, especially when we see what Starbucks profits are.
Absolutely, and when we see the profits, it does not make sense when these billion-dollar companies aren't treating their employees well.